Okay, we're testing almost max settings on Path of Exile on the GG. I've got 3 milliseconds ping, which peaks at about 4 milliseconds, and 60 FPS in the game, pretty much all the time. No packet loss have I seen come up. The recording software doesn't get the Cloud GG overlay, so only I can see the ping and FPS on the client side, but the in-game statistics are up here. So we've got 28 milliseconds on average for the frames in here, and 37 FPS. One of the good things about Path of Exile is that you get these really detailed statistics on exactly how much the game is using. And given that we don't have access to Task Manager or anything in Cloud GG, that's really useful for us. So we're just going to run a quick little map. I've not played this game in a while, and this is an old standard character, but we'll see how we go. So you can see the frame changes in there as we went between the different sessions. And let's see how the game performs when there's a lot of things going on at once. It's on the predictive networking mode. I did try it on lockstep a little earlier, and it was rather clunky. The predictive is a lot better, which is expected for low latency gaming. Overall, it feels pretty good. As I said before, I've got about 3 milliseconds to the server that the client is hosted on, which means that it's almost like playing it natively. However, the game servers are in Sydney and I'm in WA, which means that we still have an average of like 50 milliseconds to the Path of Exile game servers. So it does feel a little rough, particularly on the movement abilities and on the channeled abilities. So using Scorching Ray, it aims at the cursor and follows the cursor as you go, and it's about as good. Using predictive, it is a lot better than it was on lockstep. And using the movement abilities, sometimes it will not catch the second click. So if we wait for the charges to come back up here and we click quickly, it will sometimes not catch the second click like that. But obviously there are limits on in-game on how quickly it can register those things as well. I don't know whether that is strictly a Cloud GG thing, but if anything, it does appear to happen a bit more in this. Overall, pretty impressive though, given that it is running on pretty much max settings. You know, getting a solid like 30 FPS and then capping out at 50 FPS, obviously when you tone the graphics down, is pretty good. This is a game where you get a lot of benefit from playing at 60, 80, 100 FPS just because of the speed of the action. And that there's a lot of movement, so screen tearing and things like that is much more noticeable. But overall, it runs really well, and it runs on higher settings than my old 2014 graphics card could run it anyway. There's no way I could actually get more than about 15 FPS on these settings if I was running it on with my onboard graphics card. And also, obviously, it's not using any of my computer's resources to actually perform at this speed as well. So, in that regard, it's very good. No complaints. So, we'll wrap it up there, and I'll review some of the stats from what we've seen up here as we're going through the more intense parts of the game, so that we can see if it was ever really peaking out on any of the metrics.